1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome to Can Do Conversations. I am Cheryl Williams, the Can Do Mom.
I'm CJ Williams, the Can Do Dad. Thank you for being here.
Yes, guys, welcome. If you are listening to this in real time, it is, and you're in the U.S., I'll put that caveat.
Correct.
It is Thanksgiving week. Can you believe
Yes.
it? We're here.
Is the shopping done already? Or your last minute shopping?
Yeah.
Are you getting this, getting that, getting this?
This goes perfectly into today's conversation because you could only do so much planning, right? And then we got to get into the process of doing. And so today's topic is
Details.
stop planning and start doing. So have you planned out that big Thanksgiving menu?
Yes. Do you have a list?
Do you know what you're going to be cooking? Do you know who's coming?
Do you know the people who are coming? Do they know what they're bringing?
Right? Because it's all these things that come into it. Same thing, like we
Yes.
put up our Christmas decorations, right? We could
Yes.
plan it all out, but unless we got into the action of actually doing it, it'd still all be in the garage, or it'd
Yes,
still all be in boxes.
Yeah,
or
not even knowing what's missing, or we're going to get rid of that and make little changes.
So this is the perfect time, right? Everyone's like, well, when's the perfect time? Now, right?
Get
Now
it
is
done.
the perfect time to start. You know, yes, you got to put together your plan, but then you got to get into the action of actually doing. And
Yes.
that's why, you know, we talk about talk, plan, take action.
Yes.
And so many people get stuck in the planning part and that we never get into the action. So we're going to give some real life examples of over these next few weeks, how can we work on the plan, but now get the plan into action. So
Correct.
it's Thanksgiving week. Do you have your turkey out yet?
Yeah.
Are you having turkey?
Right. Are you changing it and not having turkey?
We decided this year we're not doing turkey. See, last
No.
year we raised a whole bunch of turkeys.
Yes.
So throughout,
The bad birds. They don't like each other.
no, they're very mean. I didn't know.
You show weakness, they stop you.
Well, it's life. You know, if you show
Yes.
weakness, people stomp you. But the turkeys took it to a whole new level.
How many did we start off with?
We started off with 25
Yes.
and quickly got down to
12.
And I'm actually happy that we only ended up having 12.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had the room.
Yeah, that's good. But then we put them all in the freezer, right? We're not going to bore you with the process of how that happens. We'll let you
Oh,
use
you
your
don't wanna know.
imagination on that. But we did process them personally, right?
Yes.
We got up close and personal with the
Yes,
bird.
just like a couple hundred chickens
Yeah.
we did also.
But anywho, those have been in the freezer. So throughout the year, we have used the turkeys. And so turkey
Yes.
right now isn't really the
No.
thing that we want to have. So we decided,
No.
what do we want to have for Thanksgiving? And we went with steaks. So we're still going to have all
The
of
fixins.
the usuals of mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans
Yes.
and cranberries and olives and
Oh, yeah.
you know, all the stuff, the pies. Everyone likes pumpkin pie and apple pie and homemade ice cream. We got apple
Yes.
cider, you know, all the good stuff. But we're just going to change
Change
out
it
the
up.
protein and sub in some steak.
Yes, so it doesn't have to go in the oven a couple hours early or 6 hours early.
I do
No.
like the smell of the turkeys, but
Yes.
we've had that all year long where we've had the turkeys going. We've
Yes.
had many Thanksgivings
And then
throughout
we
the
use
year.
the extra turkey. You know, we'll have a
All the
meal or
time.
two, and then
Yeah.
we made turkey salad instead of chicken salad.
Right. So we've done it all year though.
Yes.
We actually finished up our 12 turkeys about a month ago. So we were
We're
like,
done.
let's do something fresh and new. So this is a new tradition for us this year.
Yes.
I don't think we've ever not had turkey for Thanksgiving, but we're
No.
going to do it because
Yes,
we're
and-
turkeyed out.
Yes, I think even next year we're planning for prime rib or something.
We're just going to change it up a little bit, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you got to just add a little zhuzh, a little
Yes.
excitement, a little newness
Yes.
to it. However, if you are in the
some
turkey
lamb.
boat, right?
Let's get some lamb going.
If you're having a turkey, you got to plan these things, right? You got to buy the turkey.
Yes.
You got to then figure out when do I need to take the turkey out of
Yes,
the
how
oven?
heavy is the turkey?
Right?
So you
When-
know you'll have enough time.
Not the oven, the freezer.
The
When I take
freezer,
it out
yeah.
of the freezer, right?
Yes.
How long are you gonna sit? Is it sitting in the bathtub? Is it you got it outside? Is it cold?
Tub.
Like yeah, people in the bathtub, they let it thaw. Like there's hotlines for turkeys.
Well, you put it on a tray
Right.
and then put it in the corner. You're okay. You don't need the bathtub and the juices coming out. And,
No, but again, like now that we have internet, you can kind of like ask questions, right? But there used to be hotlines that people would call in because they were so confused on what to do with turkeys.
Right, or should we leave in the
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
neck and all the other stuff?
So anyways, we got to
Yeah.
talk about it,
Make
right?
sure you pull that out, by
But
the way.
then we got to put together a plan, right? So what are you
Yes.
having with it? You got a plan. Are you having mashed potatoes? Are you having stuffing? Are you having green bean casserole? Are you having collards and greens? Are you having
Right.
mac and cheese? Like, what is your menu, right? You got to put together the
And
plan.
you also think, are they healthier options? also.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for that day, get busy.
Yeah. Have fun.
Do your own thing.
Now, don't go overboard where then you feel stuffed like the turkey, you know? You gotta, kinda
Just sit
know
on
your
the couch.
limits.
Sit on the couch like this, you know. Let the kids play the games.
Yeah.
Let's just play some cards or something, even though you can't move your body.
Yeah, you gotta know your limits on that.
Yes.
So have fun, indulge, don't overdo.
No.
And you gotta have a plan for that, and then, you gotta do it too. So you have this whole plan, but then you gotta get in the action. Like, it's game day. Like, it's Wednesday.
Right, literally game day.
Right, what are we doing here? What are we gonna? Okay, who's bringing what? I mean, if you have a lot of people coming over, then you got to. Do you have the tables? Do you have the place settings? Do you have? What are you doing for appetizers and hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah, are you covering the table with something? Is there a kid table?
Do you have a kid table? Do you have the adult table? Are you gonna have drinks? What kind of drinks are you gonna have?
Yes.
Who's doing this? So you got a huge plan, right? Here's the plan. Now, if we just let the plan sit there, it's going to do absolutely nothing. We have to take the plan, and sometimes we have to delegate. Hey, Susie, can you bring this? Great. Hey, Tom, can you do that? Okay, great. And so we're getting out, we're delegating.
That's calling, communication. Give a
Talk to each
call
other.
instead of a text.
Right, pick up the phone, see them in person, whatever you're going to do. People sometimes are traveling. Like, if you're going to go see someone you haven't seen in a long time, maybe you got to put together a plan of, okay, we live over here and we're going to drive, 12 hours over here. Well, how are you getting there? You got to put
Or
together a
somebody
plan.
has to pick them up from the airport.
All of these things.
Yes.
So again, and then are there storms coming up? Are there, your bags? Do you have them? Do they get left at the layover? Do you?
Yes.
Again,
Your
plans.
important things, carry with you. Don't let them have your important things.
So you've got this plan, right? Now, does everything go according to plan? Not always. But if you don't ever take any action, if you don't start doing, your plan is going
then it's
nowhere.
The last minute. And
Correct.
then you'll be shopping with everybody else who's last minute.
So if you didn't put together a plan, now you're cramming the plan on Wednesday night. You're trying to find stores that are open. You're trying to find all this stuff. What are you going to do?
Maybe night.
Maybe you'll just go out to eat and forget it all. It's like, this is life, right? And so we're using this time period right now as an example because most people can figure out, like, Thanksgiving, you got to put together a little bit of a plan, right?
You do.
However, if the plan just sits there, it looks beautiful on paper. Maybe you had really nice cornucopias in the corner and you use orange pens and you were, green and really making it beautiful. I mean, and you've got Post-it notes and sticky notes and you have your countdown timeline of, 3 days before we eat, 72 hours, we got to do this. And then 48 hours, we got to work on this. And then all day Wednesday, clear out the kitchen because we got to get in there.
But you also cannot assume that you have certain things on the shelves.
No, you got to check.
Go check first because
sure.
you could say, I think we have 3 cranberries or I have 2. No, you have 1, but you have a family of 10. So
again,
put it on the list.
You've got to know, right? But then putting together the plan only gets you so far. And now you have to actually pick up the plan and do the work behind the plan.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, wow, we're going to have turkey and we're going to make the pies and we're going to, make the gravy and the thing, but you don't actually get up on Thursday and put the turkey in the oven. You don't take the action. You don't do something.
Or take the turkey out in general.
Or maybe you thought so-and-so over here was going to buy the turkey, and so you assume that they've got that covered, but you didn't check. And so you're over here thinking you're doing what you're doing, but they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that's part of your plan that you put together.
Yes, communication.
But certain people that you delegated to, maybe they're not taking action.
The ball.
Or maybe you thought you called them, but you got busy with the kids and something else, and you never actually called them like you thought you did and gave them the thing. So again, this is life. It happens all the time.
You have to verify.
And so it's easy right now to talk and kind of giggle and, have a chuckle and maybe a gobble or two, right, about Thanksgiving things. But this is life. How does this show up in your life on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? We have Christmas coming up. Do you just wing it and figure out what you're going to get, or do you put together lists?
And then you ask your family for a list also.
And then, who's doing what? Are you doing things on Christmas Eve? Are you doing things on Christmas Day?
At whose house?
Are you going to be, going and looking at lights? Are you going to be, having potlucks and celebrations and parties? Again, all of this takes planning. However, if there's no action, if there's no doing behind it, nothing's going to happen, right? The days are going to come and the days are going to go. New Year's Day is going to be here before you know it. And if you didn't take action, if you didn't do the things that you had planned, they're not getting done.
No. And what's going to happen is just all going to come to a head at once. You're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know who to call. You're not going to know who you told to bring something, who you didn't tell. You don't have to bring anything. because you didn't make a list. You don't know. You just flew by the seat of your pants.
You're talking about the wingers.
Let's just have it. Let's
and
just do it.
That's worse than
That's-
not having a plan at all, because
Right.
now you're just winging it. You're like,
Yes.
gonna hope in a prayer.
Mhm.
Let's hope it all comes together. I think it's gonna do
I
it.
told them this.
I prayed about it, so let's go, right? And
Right.
that's at least if you have a plan, you got something to fall back on, right? You
Yeah,
got
well, you
something
can
to
look at
to
your
look
list.
at and say, okay, you know what?
You can look at a
Maybe it didn't
list.
go according, but at least we still got this. But
Yes.
if you're just winging it and saying, well, hope and pray everything's good, and maybe
Yes,
something will manifest
because
itself
of last
over
year.
here.
They were here last year, so I had them bring the pies.
Right.
So maybe they know to bring the pies
Osmosisly,
again.
they're just gonna remember
yes,
that.
they know.
Yes.
You did that last year. Do it again. No.
Doesn't work that way, right?
And you need to call, but after you call, when it gets close, the day before, whenever, verify. Write down, verified. Because you can say called, they got the message, but they're going to come empty-handed.
You
Things
gotta remind
happen.
people. People have lives
They
and things
forget.
going on.
They didn't write it down.
Nope.
They didn't know because they took care of their list with their meal for their own groceries,
They
but
forgot.
not for the special day.
Right. And so, how can you apply this to life? How many times have you
just won it?
handed the ball off to someone and the ball gets dropped? How many
Yes, not
times
on
have
purpose.
you assumed that someone was going to do something, but you didn't follow up and verify? How many
Yes.
times have things fallen through the cracks? How many times have you thought about something, but you didn't actually write it down or take action on it, so then you forgot about what you thought about?
Yes.
How many times I'm going to call this person, I'm going to do that action, I'm going to take care, but you don't actually do it, right?
Right.
And so this is where you've got to apply this to your life. Yes, we're applying this to Thanksgiving
Meals.
right now,
Yes.
and meals, or putting together a Christmas list, or
Yes.
holiday time, because this is, you can look at it right now, and how you do one thing is usually how you do everything.
Yep.
So if you're having these challenges and these hiccups right now during this time, it's
Imagine
more
if it's for your
amplified,
business.
right?
Yes.
It's more amplified right now because the lights are turned up a little bit more, the pressure's a little bit more on. But how does this work in your life? How many times at the beginning of the year you put together plans, okay, this is the year.
Yes.
New year, new me.
You got the weights.
I'm doing it. You got your plan put together. You're going to drink water. You're going to
gym
eat all the
membership.
good things. You got the gym. You got
Yes.
the weights. You got the cute outfits to wear. You got those new tennies that you're going to
You
put
matched
on.
everything. You
It
color coordinated
is good,
everything.
right? But then,
then-
you don't actually do anything
You
with
don't
it.
get up early to take care of that.
Or maybe you do it for a couple days, and then you're like, doggone, this is
I'm
actually
going
like
to bed late,
this
but
is a challenge. This is a little harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's not so much fun anymore.
and then the dust gets on the outfits, the dust gets on the weights, and then they just go in a corner or they go inside of a bin somewhere, and then you won't think about it again.
Or you
and
think-
then the next year you're even 100 pounds heavier.
Wow, that was a rough year.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
it goes like that.
You know what? Whether it's
Definitely when
100
you eat
pounds
turkeys.
or 10 pounds. Let's hope it's not 100 pounds, okay?
Hey.
Maybe it's 10. But again, if you do 10 or 100 each year, I mean, you're going to be,
Everybody's different.
deep and wide at that point, So you gotta look at this, because this applies to you in some way. So if it doesn't apply for you on Turkey Day, great, you got that covered.
Yes,
You're
or
good.
Christmas time.
How about for Christmas time? How about for how about for your kids? How about for your mind? If you said, okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna do something this year. I'm gonna read more, or I'm gonna pick up that Bible and actually start getting in there, or I'm gonna
Correct. Yep.
learn a new language, or I'm gonna
Yes.
have a new skill, or I'm gonna do this better, or do this
Yep,
more.
you grab those books, you grab different apps on your phone.
And so now is a good time for reflection. We're far enough into this year. We're almost 11 months in, solid, right?
Yes,
Oh,
coffee mug time.
we have we'll take a break. Side note, we did put up all of our Christmas decorations. They're up. We got out our Christmas mugs, right?
Yes.
They're very Christmassy. We
love them.
We have our Christmas music going. We even have our Christmas diffusers with like the Christmas scents.
Oh, yes.
It's totally Christmassy everywhere we go. Brings so much cheer and goodness. I love it this time
Our
of year.
vehicle is Rudolph. We have we have the nose, we have the antlers, and the driver, chauffeur, even has his bell. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And I do
That's
it.
extra.
That's
You added
me.
that on. For
Yes,
years
that's what
now,
I do.
For years,
This year.
we have gotten a Rudolph nose, and antlers.
Yes.
And we've had them on the car every
Yes.
single year. It's something the kids absolutely love.
And taking them to school,
when you're
all
driving
the other kids
by
love it.
and you see people, you're at
Their
the grocery
face.
store, you're just driving down, and you can bring a smile to someone's face because your car looks like Rudolph heading down the road. Hey,
there you go.
You know what? It's about the little things. So
Yes.
add some Christmas cheer, some smiles, and some joy along the way. But what we were
Yes.
saying is we are almost 11 full months into this year. And this is the time people say, okay, well, Thanksgiving's here. It's time to kind of wrap it up for this year. And so they're not giving any more effort for this
their
year.
Foot, they
here
took
we
their foot
are.
off the gas.
We're 11 months in, but really just throw in the 12th because people just throw it in. And they're already
done.
looking at January
They're
1st,
done.
right? And we talked about that a few episodes ago. I saw January 1st this year. It's going to be January 8th that people actually start
Yes.
doing things because the 1st is a Monday and they're going to be drunk and they're going to be
Tired,
hungover and they're
the
going to be
body's
tired.
not going to want to do anything.
So they're going to make excuses and say, well, we next Monday.
Yes, so we're going to start on Monday.
We're actually a week into the year
Yes.
now this year, and people aren't going to
Yes.
be doing anything
We
in
checked.
2024. Pull out your calendar and look. The 1st, January 1st this year is on a Monday. So people are going to be hungover and not feeling good Monday
Yes.
and Tuesday. Then they're going to say, oh, we'll start again fresh and clean.
Yes.
Instead of just brushing it off and saying, you know what, okay, I drank too much. I'm going to pull myself out of bed and I'm going to do what I said I'm going to
Yes.
do. They're going to make an excuse. They're going to put it off
Or
until the 8th.
Or they're going to slack even more and wait until February 1st. And that's not a good thing.
Well, then we've really started
Then
the year
right.
off on the wrong
Because
foot.
guess what? When that comes, you might push it off again. And then again, and then you're not going to do it.
These are your habits, right? Your habits are
break
the
the
things
cycle.
that you do over and over and over again, expecting a different result. But because you go towards your habits again, if this is
Yes.
if you have said before, I'll start on Monday, hey, you know
Yes.
what, next week, next month, next year, when it's convenient,
Right.
when it feels right, when I'm not so stressed, when I don't have so much going on, when I have less on my plate, when I feel like I have more energy, when the kids are out of the house, when right?
Yes.
We can have all the excuses, and that's what this is. So you need to look back now at your year and say, okay, take some inventory, evaluate, and see where are you at. You've had
Yes.
11 months, right? And we're going to throw in December. You can chug along and really make some progress over the last month. But hey, where are you? What did you say at the beginning of the year you were going to do? Did you do it or did you not? And if you're on the, well, I kind of did it for a little while, or I did 1/10 of the things I said I was going to do, or I did it until this happened, or I didn't really start because I didn't have What are those excuses? Because those are excuses that you're going to carry over with you into 2024.
You also have to change what is your inner self telling you? What has it told you in the past? It's going to steer you wrong. You're literally going to have to stop that self-talk that's in your ear that you listen to make you stop whatever you're going to do. Because we call it the B voice, okay? Literally.
Well,
it's telling you something, and then you're not going to get up and work out. You're not going to set your plans out. You're not going to take action on anything because that's what you're used to following.
Well, you listen to yourself more than you listen to anyone else. And that's the challenge
and
with
it's
that.
more
Is it knows
yeah.
how to lie to you better than anyone else does,
Yes.
too. It's like, oh,
You can
know
chill.
what? You went to bed a little late. That's okay. Don't get up
Right.
later. Oh,
You can watch the extra show.
you don't feel good. Don't worry
Yes.
about it. No one's gonna know. It's okay.
Yes.
Take some time for you. It's like you
Yep.
know what you need to hear the most to not do what
To
you want to do.
appease.
Versus if you have
Yeah.
someone on the outside saying, we
No.
committed to this. This is what we said we're gonna
Yes.
do. We're doing. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how much sleep you have. I don't care
Doesn't
what the
matter.
excuses are. This is what we committed to.
Yes.
And that's why being around people that are not gonna put up with your crap and aren't gonna listen to your lies and excuses.
No. Because it's just an
That you
excuse.
keep putting out for yourself.
Right.
It's like you can overcome that, but you
Yeah.
have to take the harder path,
Yeah.
usually, right? And not the easy one that everyone likes to revert to easy, right? It's not supposed to
peasy.
be easy.
No.
It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be challenging. It's supposed to be difficult. Because that's where you learn. That's where you grow. That's where you excel. If everything was easy all the time,
then
we wouldn't be
yes,
we wouldn't be
in
paying
this
attention.
predicament. Yeah,
right?
everybody be in great shape.
We wouldn't be paying attention to what we need to be paying attention to. And so the challenge, the obstacle, the hurdle, the hard,
The
whatever you
climbing,
want to call it,
yes.
that is life. That's where you learn. That's where you grow. That's where you actually figure out who
Yes.
you are and what you're capable of
Yes.
doing because you're not letting it stop you. You're continuing to move forward and you're doing it. And that is the biggest thing you've got to do.
No matter what, if you only had 3 hours sleep, know that you need to turn your feet, turn it off, turn your feet, get out of bed, start brushing your teeth, start washing your face, wake up so you can move forward. Because I'm really proud of myself at this moment that no matter how bad I feel or something's hurting, we can work out. Just put your gloves on and it's going to be done.
Well, you push
Just
through.
push yourself. Just go.
And that's what you're doing. You're pushing
You're
through.
just going,
And again,
yes.
this comes back to the doing part, right? If you lay in bed and you're like, oh, I don't feel like getting up, right? You had a
Yes.
plan.
And then 2 hours or later.
You had a plan. I'm going to get up at this time and I'm going to do these things, right?
Yes.
That's your plan. But if you lay in bed and the plan comes and it's time for you to actually take the action, the doing part of the plan, right?
Yes.
We got to take the plan and do something with it. And you lay in bed and you're like, well, you know
not
what?
gonna-
Maybe
yeah.
I could get up. Maybe I could do it this
Later.
afternoon. Maybe I got the, in between lunch. Until your mind, you're not even sleeping.
Yes.
Now you're finagling in your mind. You're lying to yourself. You're scheming to try to figure out
Scheming.
how
Yep.
can you figure this out to still do what you said you're going to do. Maybe you can half-ass it. Maybe you can cut it down a little bit. Maybe it won't be as effective, but
Right.
you still get it in. It's like, no,
Yep.
you're cutting yourself short. You're selling yourself short on what you can do because you're limiting yourself again and listening to your nonsense
voice.
and your bullshit and your excuses. And that's why you are where you are. You have to
Yep.
fully own where you are.
Yes.
And like feel it and
Yes.
say, okay, now what? What am I going to be doing
Override.
differently now? Right now. Don't wait for the new year.
No.
Do it now. How can you change? How
Step
can you
into
start
it.
doing and start getting into the action and start doing some of those things so that when you roll in to 2024, you've
You're
got the
already in the
momentum.
motion.
You've got
Yes.
things going. You're not just starting over, kind of figuring some things out.
Yes.
Like take this next 5-6 weeks that we have and figure out, okay, I like doing this. Maybe I
Yes.
should do more of that. Maybe I could tweak this.
Right.
And
But
so
you need to figure out where you want to be also.
Yeah.
You need to figure that out. Ask yourself, what do you want? Where do you want your body? Do you want to feed your brain? Are you going to eat correctly? What are you going to do? But do that ahead of time. Know what you want for yourself so you can move forward.
Yep.
Because if you don't know what weight you want to get down to, you're just working out just to work out.
You're going through the
But if
motions.
you're striving for something, and then your brain switches and goes, okay, I'm doing this to get down to this.
And then there's a reason behind what you're doing.
Yes.
Now you have to, push through enough to be able to realize what you know that you're capable of. And so
Yes.
there's this place in here when you first start, you're motivated, you're excited. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you're doing it for a while and the motivation wanes, the excitement is gone, and you're
they're
like
right there.
But you're stuck in this, okay, am I going to revert back to comfortable or am I going to keep
Well,
pushing
because
through?
they didn't see a change.
Right, there is no
They
change.
didn't see
There
anything.
is no change
You
in the
didn't
middle.
see anything, so then you stop.
It's like, but if you keep pushing
But
through because what you
you're
said you
right
want to
there.
do, maybe you need to tweak some things, maybe you need
Yes.
to change some things, but stopping isn't going to get you
No,
there, right?
because you are doing these reps, you're getting stronger.
Right.
You are literally getting stronger.
You've got to push through, though, that time period where you're not seeing the results, you're down
Yes.
on yourself.
You're in the mirror.
And this is not even physical either. This is all kinds of things. Like, okay, I
Yes,
want to learn
the
a new
mental.
language. It's like, okay, it was exciting in the beginning. Now it's daunting because I got to do all this stuff, and I
Yes.
still don't really know what the heck I'm saying or doing over
Yes.
here. But the more
you're
that you
getting better.
do it, the more reps that you put in, the more time that you give yourself, the
Yes.
more you're going to learn. If you stop here, you're going to regress back because you haven't done enough to have it become natural
Yes.
for you. You haven't done enough. Whether you want to, say they were
Roll
riding
those
a bike.
R's.
Riding a bike, it's like, okay, if you don't know how to do that, in the beginning it's clunky, you're falling over, you're trying to figure out where to put your foot, you're looking down, you're looking
yeah.
up, it's like, what do I do? The more you do it though, you start figuring out that balance, you start figuring
Yes.
out the flow. Same thing for anything that you want to do.
Yes.
You've got to get past the awkward, the unknown, you're not
Yes,
really
the
that good at
butterflies-
it yet.
Yes, the butterflies in your stomach because you're learning something new.
You're doubting yourself. It's you're not really good, but you're you're kind of just like, ugh. It's like, and so you've got to work on past that and be okay and not lie to yourself and say, I'm not good at
Yep.
this, and you throw up
No.
your hands and you don't do it. It's like, no, I'm not good at it yet.
Just keep
However,
going.
I'm going to keep pushing and I'm going to get better and better.
Yes.
And if you change that programming and you switch that around, it's like, okay, the more I
Yep.
do it, the easier it gets. The more I do
There
this,
you
the
go.
better I get at this. The more
There you
time I
go.
put into this, the
Yep.
more I'm going to learn and embrace, and it's going to start becoming one with me
Yes.
instead of being so like disjointed,
Wish-washy.
right? And so you have to, though, believe that within yourself. We can talk
Yes.
to you all the time and
Yes.
tell you all these things.
And have
but
faith.
if you don't believe it for yourself and keep pushing, no one else is going to be able to do it for you.
No.
No
you don't
one
have
can-
a trainer right next to you waking up with you and pulling your
And they
ass out
still
of bed.
can't make you do the work.
Yeah, they could be calling you saying it's time to get up, but
Right.
you're not going to answer the phone.
You have to have the belief in yourself that one, you're worth it, two, that you can do it, and three, you're willing to stick it out to get the result that you're looking for.
You are worth it.
And most people aren't willing to go through the hard, aren't willing to go through the messy, aren't willing to go through the unknown to get to the other side.
Yes.
And that's why putting together a plan, having your vision board, having your whiteboard, having your
Yes.
beautifully,
Laid
Pinteresty
out.
looking thing, your color coded this and that, your sticky
little
note.
folders here,
All of
folders
that
there.
is just appeasing you. It's not actually moving you through. And so if you
Yes.
see yourself a lot of times shuffling papers, right? Shuffle over here, shuffle over there,
Yeah.
do this. You're not really actually doing anything.
No,
You're just moving the
having
pieces.
fun. You're just having fun. That's playing.
Well, you're just wasting time.
yes.
Right? And so you got to stop just shuffling. You got to stop just going through the motions
Yes.
and not actually put in the work. That's what you have to do the
Right.
work. You have to do the
Right.
action. And that's where the doing comes into this is
Yeah.
you have to do it. And no one else can do it for you. They can cheer you along, they can encourage you, they
Yes.
can hold you accountable, but you have to do the work yourself.
After, when you're doing the shuffling, put them in order. Grab the first one. How am I going to get closer to this? What are the steps I'm going to do to get that? Okay, that's going to be in my calendar. That's going to be in my calendar. Here's the 5 steps to get to this. You're going to grab another, and you're going to create the steps for those. And then you're going to plan out what you want the most. What's more important to you to figure it out.
And what are you working on right here and right now, right? Because you can have your big 5 or
Yeah.
10-year goal, right? But then you
You
got to
can.
put together a plan that's closer to you. So what am I going to do over
Yes.
the next year? Okay, so if I next year, okay, so what am I actually going to do over
gonna
the
do
next
every
90
quarter.
days, every
Yep.
quarter, every 12 weeks to get you to where you want to go? That's what you need to focus the most on is the here and the now, not the
Yes.
esoteric. You need to have the big goal and the big plan and the big dream,
Right.
because then that's going to help you strive for that, but you've got to bring it closer to where you are right now, and that makes it more tangible for what you need to be doing right now, right?
Correct.
Like next year, I can think about, okay, or Thanksgiving next year, we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, or for Christmas, we're going to do this, vacations that we're going to take, right? But as it gets closer, okay, well now I've actually got to buy the ingredients. Now I've
Yes.
actually got to put together the list. Now I've actually got to go execute on the plan.
Or
This-
find the prices for the flights.
Right. The same
Yes.
thing for what you're doing right now. It's like the closer it is, the more specific, the more detail, and the more action you've
Yes.
got to take. If you're looking out, it's like, okay, that sounds nice. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but there's nothing
But it's
behind it.
not something you're having to actually work on right now. Bring it closer to you.
Yes.
You know where you want to go. Bring it to the here and now. It's like, okay, well now here's what I need to be doing over the next
Yes.
90 days to get me closer to that big thing
Right.
over here.
Well, you're
one
building
step
your-
at a time.
You're building your roadmap.
Right.
You
And
know,
so
you're
your
going to drive
blueprint.
across country. You're going to drive across country. Do you know where you're going? Where are you going to go first? What's closest to home? What roads are you going to take? Where are you going to sleep? Where are you going to stay? Then where are you going to go? How long are you going to stay in each spot? So you need to plan that out in your little map, in your blueprint, and figure out where you're going.
And that's the key is like the plan is part of the equation. The doing is the bigger part of the equation. And the doing is what most people overlook, right? They have these goals and dreams and aspirations. They
Yep.
think about what they want. They can even visualize what it's going to look like. They can meditate on it and pray. And yet, putting together the plan is wonderful. You can see it. But then to get there from becoming the seeing to the actual having, you've got to do the doing. You've got
Yes.
to put in the action. And it's not just action today, it's consistent action day in and day out to get you where
Correct.
you want to go. That's why your end result has got to be big enough. It has
Yeah,
to be
it can't get you-
grand enough.
it can't
It
get you to the
has
next
to
town.
be, big enough that you're willing to put in the work on the days that you don't feel like it, on the days that you don't want to, on the days that things aren't going
Yep.
your way, on the
Weekends
days
also.
that you're not, things just aren't happening. You
Yes.
know where you're going, and it's big enough that you're willing to do the actions that
Yes.
it takes, even when you don't want to still
Right.
get yourself there.
Start, stop, Monday through Friday. Don't do the weekend. And then it's 4 days.
Well, most people aren't
Then it's
going Monday
3
through Friday.
days. Right? And then it just goes on and on and on.
And we've talked about it before. Time is time. Time doesn't care if it's a Monday,
Nope.
a Friday,
Or
a
Saturday,
Saturday.
Sunday.
It doesn't care if it's morning time or afternoon
Nope.
or evening.
Or people at church.
The sun comes up and the sun goes down.
Every day.
Days happen, right? Days just go. We have made it that, okay, it's 8
Yep.
hours a day between this
5
time and
o'clock's
this
party
time.
time.
Between
Friday
at this time. It's time to go kick up your feet, go have a couple, drinks with somebody. The weekend is for what? It's like, again, who
Yes.
made up these rules? Who set that? You make the rules for you.
Yes.
You decide what you're going
What
to
you
live
wanna
by
do.
and what you want. Now, are we
Yes.
saying it's all work and no play? No.
Of course
but
not.
guess
You
what?
plan out your play.
Don't play before you get the work done. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
Right? Get the things done that you need to get done, and then you have the time to do what you want
Whatever
to do.
you want.
It's even more freeing and liberating
Yes.
because now you know these are the steps I said I needed to do. These are the things I said I was going to do. I've done them. I'm good. Now I
Yes.
can move on with other things.
Yep.
And so it's not an all or nothing that you got to work, and there's no other time. It's that because you're strategic and specific in the work that you need to do and
Yes.
the actions that you need to take, you're doing them, right? You're not sitting in thinking and indecision, all this
Nope.
time wasting, and then
Yes.
you're able to move forward
Yep.
and you're able to then have time for the other things as well.
Yep, all the assumptions, all the crap, all the
Just like laying in bed and
all
thinking-
this heartache you give yourself.
Yeah, and thinking and laying in bed and conniving, how can I cut some time over here and do something? Just get up and get the thing
Yeah.
done you could have had done already.
Yep, I'm not going to read.
It's done.
I'm going to do my workout instead or flip flop.
It's like, instead of all this, just do what you said you're going to do. And
Yes.
it creates a lot more peaceful environment
yeah,
in your
you have
mind
time.
and in your space.
Yes, instead of telling yourself you don't have time,
You got time.
You have time.
You got time. Maybe you don't scroll as long. Maybe you don't, spend as long time just doing,
Watching
going through the
TV,
motions
yep.
or just in your head thinking about things and actually taking action. You got to take the action. You got to get into the doing.
Yes.
And that is the key, doing. So if there's
Do.
one thing that you can take away from our time together today is thinking
Just
about it's
go
great.
ahead and do it,
Putting together a
especially
plan
before the new year.
is awesome. You got to do. And so start this week. Start the doing this week. Let this be your week that you start getting those actions behind you. You start taking those steps. You start actually moving towards
Yes.
what you said you want. And then one leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. But you've
Yes.
got to be in motion to be able to get things moving the way you want them to.
They do.
All right, guys. We love you. We appreciate
thank
you
you.
sharing
Thank you for
your
everything.
precious time with us.
You
Make
are
sure
loved.
that you share the show. That is how we're able to grow and expand this
Yes.
Can Do community.
Give us a share.
And remember, we can do it, and so can you. We love you guys. Bye.